Welcome to Daytime Ottawa here on Rogers TV. Happy Monday. Oh my goodness. I know you're thinking, Derek, it's Monday. Don't be so excited. I'm always excited because we have a great show for you. And we're starting with one of the most beautiful places you can possibly visit. If you have never gone before, I cannot recommend it enough. My wife and I have been, I don't know how many times now. Prince Edward County is just a gorgeous spot. Wineries and cideries and breweries and you name it, and just, you know, sandbanks, and I can go on. But I'll let my next guest give you a better description than that. He's from Wapoos Estates Winery. I'm joined by Executive Chef Kevin McKenna. Kevin, welcome. Great to have you here.
Happy to be here.
Yeah, you know, and I, as I said, I've been before. You've moved back to Prince Edward County. Let's just start with that. Like, what makes it such a unique and special place to be?
It's just beautiful, the farms. I moved back from Halliburton, which is beautiful.
Yeah, that's beautiful in itself.
But it's totally different. It's going from the beautiful forests and lakes to the beaches and the farmlands and all the beautiful wineries, and it's very more food oriented, as we know. There's a lot of chefs that have moved down to the county, and it's very competitive.
Well, what brought you to Wapoos?
I knew them originally many years ago with the original owner, Ed Nusser. And it was beautiful, and they were just building it. The actual restaurant at the time, the restaurant was outdoor.
Oh, really?
It only had screened-in windows.
Okay.
And
so not a full four-season experience.
And it was small and tiny and beautiful, and that was with Ed and Rita who built it. And and I think it was 2001. The winery was purchased by the Pula family in Toronto, so Joe Pula, and so they've expanded on how beautiful it is.
Yeah,
so
I was like, as you explain that, I'm like, when they say, you know, estates, it feels like an estate when you're there.
Oh, it is.
Such a beautiful space.
It's gorgeous. Right? I didn't realize we had 100 acres in the back of not just our grapes and our vineyards. We have our apple orchards. There's so many. It seems like there's more apples, almost to me, seeing the big bushels come in for pressing right now. Yeah. And then our gardens and everything else.
Well, you are the executive chef, so you're going to prepare something for us here today. What are we going to make today?
So we are known for all our meat. We raise our own cattle, pork, chickens, ducks, goats, lamb. There is some rabbits as well.
Okay.
And we grow our own vegetables. So we are true to farm to table. I haven't had to buy any meat since being there at all, and I won't ever.
No kidding.
And I'm very proud of ours. But as we are known for it, I also try to do vegan options.
Right.
And to make it interesting, because I find it more of a challenge. A lot of chefs, it's becoming more accessible, acceptable, and more interesting. It's not just your typical salad and pasta, which I'm doing today. I'm doing a different twist on it.
That's all right. Everyone still likes those traditional dishes.
I'm a Canadian farm-to-table chef. I have been for many, many years in some pretty well-known farm-to-table restaurants. South Pond Farms, Eigenson Farm. My own restaurants in Toronto were farm-to-table. I haven't used much Italian products.
Really?
So the Pula family, one of their businesses is Aurora Imports.
Okay.
And I've started incorporating the family business products into our farm-to-table cuisine. Very small. I'm still showcasing what we do on our farm. Very proud of it. It's gorgeous. But I've only started using olive oil again. And So
that's from our friend Christian Pritchard. You probably made that connection, right? Who's on the show coming up on Thursday, who connected the two of us.
He was so nice to me. He's so fun. We're very similar. We're both chefs and musicians. We actually play the same instrument as well. We both play bass guitar.
Okay.
We both play.
That is cool.
We clicked as soon as we can. So I asked him, I was trying to research. We have Countylicious coming up, which is a prefix feature across about 20 restaurants in Prince Edward County. And we're honored to be one of the participants. And it is 3 courses for lunch is $30, and 3 courses at dinner is $60.
Okay.
At $60, we get our homemade breads with it, our sourdoughs and our focaccia, which we're very proud of.
Nice.
We make ourselves. And probably some other treats I'll add into it as well. But one of the dishes is a pasta dish. We had some local mushrooms. We had a farmer growing some oyster mushrooms around Elmwood Farms.
Okay.
And we also grabbed some cremini mushrooms as well, and we had so many tomatoes this year. I bought some seedlings from Vicky's Veggies, which is a well-known heirloom tomato farmer in Prince Edward County.
Okay.
She sells in Toronto and everywhere.
Wow.
I bought too many this year, and the general manager, Kyle, thought you're crazy, and I wasn't thinking. So we had so many yellow tomatoes, because I find them sweet.
Yeah.
The yellow pear tomatoes I think they were sweeter for me more than the red varieties.
Right.
So we had so much, we started making passata, which is just an Italian tomato sauce cooked down with salt and a bit of basil and nothing else.
Okay, I'm gonna have to look that up.
And you just cook it down. So we did jar some of our own.
Nice.
And so I always have to make it interesting and different.
Right.
Whatever we do.
Yeah, of
because
course.
why would you go to a restaurant if you can make it better?
I have said that, like, if I go to a restaurant, like, I don't order a burger or a steak, because I can make a great burger or steak at home. I want something that I'm not doing at home.
That's right.
Right? And that's what you're doing.
And I like to show people, it can be simple things you can get in the grocery store. That's why I have these things. So it's like
Right.
a plug for Christian again. He did show me these. He gave these to me, and they're beautiful.
Nice.
There are the canned yellow tomatoes. And I have this pasta. It's called Felli Calabrese, and I've never seen this.
I've never
this
seen
can
that
before.
either. Like, when I saw that, I didn't even know what to make out of it.
Yes, and Christian was like, Kev, it's a bit unique, it's different, and I was like, that's what I want.
Yeah.
So you can buy it. It was from the Aurora, but I couldn't find it anywhere in Prince Edward County.
Okay.
Well, we can order it.
Right.
But it was just a long, different noodle that is
Sort of a thicker, it
tubular.
almost looks
Yes,
doughy
yes.
too, right? Yeah.
Yes. So we'll get right to it.
'Kay.
And
Let's do
so
it.
I like showing people how to cook. I used to teach at Fleming College in Peterborough for a while, and I just love teaching. With mushrooms, there's a specific way, and I'm very specific when it comes to cooking mushrooms.
All right.
You have to brown it. If you do not brown your mushrooms, I don't want to eat it.
Really?
I think it's kind of gross.
Okay.
To be honest,
okay.
in my opinion.
I appreciate your
Because it
your
just-
honesty.
Well, I know, I'm brutally honest.
Well, and you're
so
not.
I apologize.
and
yes.
With, no, don't apologize for that. And with mushrooms too, my understanding is you don't wash them, you don't rinse them.
No,
Is
you
that
should
right?
just brush them off.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you just brush them?
Because the water will soak up and absorb into how porous they are.
Then you're boiling it instead of sort of
Yes.
frying it, right?
And
is that
that's
the idea?
I don't like mushrooms that much unless they're cooked properly.
Okay. Well,
And
I'm looking forward to
and
that
it's
because
a-
I've had some interesting experiences with mushrooms.
And a lot of people don't.
Yeah.
No.
I mean, I like them, but they have to be, as you're describing, they have to be cooked a specific way or a specific type of mushroom.
And properly. And when I teach my cooks and my apprentices and chefs, I'm just like, I got some fresh garlic from our farm. We have a lot of garlic and
Nice.
maple syrup. We have almost the same amount of vegetables.
What don't you guys produce?
Fish.
Okay, so you don't produce fish. Okay, we found the one thing. the one
I
product.
asked the general manager, Kyle, if we could get a fishing license because we're on the lake.
Well, that's true.
And
Maybe a little fish farm at some point.
I drive 20 minutes to our local fish guy, and he gets all the, it's called Bay Williams Fisheries. So all the people fishing in Quinte Bay come into him, drop their fish off, and he processes it.
Nice.
And
nice.
it's amazing.
We're going to take
Small
a quick break here, Kevin.
Yes.
Okay, and we'll come back and prepare this dish for all of you at home. So don't go away. We'll be back with Chef Kevin McKenna from Wapu's Estates Winery right after this. This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
Join us for season 4 of Simply Cooking by Chef, Sunday nights at 8 o'clock, right here on Rogers TV.
For 25 years, you've been helping to make our roads safer by doing the right thing. You've been the designated driver, you've stayed over, called home, you've called a cab or a friend, and planned ahead. Let's keep doing the right thing. Support sober driving by getting yourself and your friends home safely.
Do the right thing.
Visit ArriveAlive.org to find out more. Arrive Alive. Drive sober.
Ottawa, it's the national capital of Canada. But how much do you know about the city's history? This is Phil Jenkins. Join me as I take you on a journey through Bytown's beginnings, Ottawa's crowning as capital, amalgamation, and its becoming a city of 1 million citizens. Watch The History of Ottawa according to Phil Jenkins exclusively on Rogers TV.
Play 4 games of bingo from the comfort of your own home each Monday at 7 p.m. for your chance to win money from our $2,000 regular bingo or $5,000 super bingo night. Kiwanis TV Bingo, Mondays at 7 p.m. on Rogers TV.
We're in Infinity Pool. Hi, my name is Isabel. I'll be performing as part of Encore Ottawa 3. I hope you can tune in and catch it on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Daytime on. As you can see, things are boiling here. Oh my goodness, we're back with executive chef Kevin McKenna from Wapu's Estates Winery. We're getting things going. We got our pan hot.
Yes,
We're
sir.
putting our pasta in. You're going to show us. I'm learning so much. You're going to be learning a lot at home here. So we're going to get some mushrooms going.
Yes.
And you're saying we cannot move the mushrooms once
No,
they hit the plate.
you should not.
Sorry, the pan.
So the pan is
Okay.
warm. You
Yeah.
see it smoking. You want to take it off so you don't burn anything.
Okay.
You can get oyster mushrooms in the grocery stores now.
Yeah.
Don't use your hands. You're going to burn
And we do
yourself.
have, you know what, we do have some local mushrooms here in the Ottawa region as well. So if you're looking, there are some fantastic local mushrooms available. So keep that in mind. All right. So we're browning these.
Yep.
I'm working on the salad.
Yes, sir.
Right? So I'm a little salt and pepper.
Yes, please.
Right? Here we go.
You can if you want. Mix in the bowl. That's what if it's bigger.
Oh, that's what that's for.
You can.
I don't know.
Oh,
You're the
that's
boss.
fine.
I'm just here as your sous chef, you see? I'm going to just showcase a little bit. See how we're not moving them? That's very important according to chef here. So keep that in mind at home.
If you move it, they won't brown, and then it gets cold, and it kind of simmers.
Okay.
And that's why.
Got a little bit of carrot. Am I putting the carrot in here
of course.
too?
Yes,
Okay.
shaved
a little bit of
carrots.
shaved carrot.
We've
Nice
also
color.
Yes, and so what I've also become, even though part of the Pula family is a nut company,
Okay.
I try to stay away from nuts. So we have toasted sunflower seeds for the crunch.
Oh, nice. I love
so
that.
all the nut allergies we've been planning.
Gotcha.
So now I'm going to try to. I'll take my spatula, and there you go. See how it's nice and golden brown?
Yeah.
That's what you. So if you move it, it cools down the pan, and then they'll simmer.
Ah, okay.
And you want it to caramelize.
And you don't want them like sort of squishy. You know,
No,
that's what kind of happens,
Yes.
right?
Put
So a
a
little
little-
olive oil on the salad?
Yes, please.
Okay.
So
Olive oil.
we're going to put in a little bit of garlic.
And cider vinegar. Here we go. A
please.
little bit of that.
And that's what you do at home. Everybody has
Yeah, that's what
cider
we do all the
vinegar.
time.
I do.
All the time.
It's like I've been using white balsamic a lot, but I always
Don't-
have cider vinegar
Yeah,
at
and
home.
be careful. Don't, like, if you buy the stuff in the grocery store, and I know there's some good stuff out there and organic and so forth, just have a look at the label.
Yes.
Because you'll be surprised of what you find in there, right? At least you know what you're getting here.
Yes.
Right? And it's delicious.
So
So you add a little white wine there, is that
yes,
right?
I did.
Okay.
You don't have to if you don't. You can use white wine vinegar or a little bit of acid. We actually grow lemons, but not very many.
Really? You grow
actually
some?
have-
I'm actually surprised you can.
So was I.
Okay.
So we're going to put a little salt and pepper in.
Yeah.
Okay. So then the
My
mushroom.
salad.
That'll be good.
Okay.
So now
we should talk a little listen, we're talking about a winery here. Here's some of their beautiful wines. You've got ciders into our whites. We got rosés and reds.
Yes.
Just a beautiful assortment of wines
We are
available.
the oldest winery in Prince Edward County.
Right? I remember that. Look at that.
Can you do that for me?
The chef's kiss right
No,
there.
you're going to do it too.
Okay.
So
all right.
then we'll probably just put it right there,
Okay.
and then, yep, and then
a little.
there you go.
Whoosh.
Perfect.
Not bad.
Now you put your
Not
salad
bad.
in.
Okay.
That looks good.
Not bad. All
Okay.
right. Then I'm going to put the salad in.
So now we're going to put in, and you can use regular tomato sauce. So this is our mushroom pasta.
Look at this. That smells fantastic.
Thank you.
Mind you, anytime you cook with white wine or red wine,
Yes.
it always just makes
But
that
you don't
smell
have to.
so
What
beautiful.
I would use vinegar, and then we're going to put these. This pasta is very interesting. It does take about 15 minutes.
Okay.
Of course, I brought the wrong tools, and I don't care to use tongs because they always squish food.
Really?
Yes.
So what would you use? I mean, you're using your chef hands,
I
and not
know,
all of
which-
us have chef
well-
hands at home.
No, of course not. So your salad tastes good?
I haven't even tried it yet.
All those are your tasting
Okay,
spoons.
these are my.
And
what,
then-
so what is it that you spread on here?
That is a sunflower seed mix, and I call
Okay.
it sunflower seed cream cheese. And it was just a little play. I like
my
I like
goodness.
to have fun.
That is
It's just
fantastic.
simple, and the carrots. You just get carrots, and some people have the mandolin, and that's scary. So for cutting thin,
It can be.
and that's why I would just get a peeler and just shave it. And it's
Yeah, and you just shave the ends, right?
yeah, it's got the nice crunch, and it doesn't matter what shape you want. Even for my kids are 7 and 9 and 11.
Okay.
And if I shave the carrots like this for them, and you see heirloom colored carrots in the grocery
so
stores,
beautiful.
but an orange carrot is fine.
Yeah.
Gives it the crunch.
Very
And then
nice.
If you need some sweetness, you can drizzle a little of, there's also this as well.
What do you got? Maple
Our
syrup
own
too?
maple syrup.
Do you make your own honey as well?
Wait, not yet.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure
I found
we
another product: fish and honey. Fish
I will
and
ask
honey.
Kyle if we can get
Okay.
start an apiary.
We have a friend here, a colleague that is a beekeeper, and he brings us honey. Well, I mean, you know, we obviously support him, but he brings his honey here
Yes.
for us here. Look at that at home. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that pasta.
And then
That's
we're
great.
gonna. So that's the thing is tasting your food also. A lot of people don't.
As you go, you mean?
Yes. Because you don't want, if you taste it at the end, you want to build the flavors.
Right.
So when people are
Right.
doing soups and I teach my cooks, it's like every time you put something in the pot, you put salt and pepper in it. Just a little bit, not
Right.
a lot, to help develop the
Taste
flavors.
again. Taste
Yes.
again. Okay.
So
I
I'm going
like
to
the
plate this for
philosophy.
you to eat.
All right.
But
Okay.
you also have to taste
Oh, I'll taste.
and let me know.
You got it.
And be honest, I don't have an ego.
Oh, the tomato.
It's nice, isn't
It
it?
is so good. So good.
It's kind of the sweet part
Yeah.
and the earthy mushrooms. Now the last part,
Countylicious, I want to remind everybody at home, we have about 60 seconds left. Kicks off November 3rd, right?
the second, yes.
On
Yep.
November 2nd, let's
Yes.
call it that. November 2nd to the 19th, and you can find out all the information online. You can look up Countylicious. You can go to wapuswinery.com as well to find out about their menus. You've got tastings, wines, ciders, you name it, you've got it all. Okay, here we go. You finished with a little spinach there?
Yes.
Okay.
And you actually don't cook it. It's the residual heat. We'll keep cooking it out. Oh,
Okay.
making a mess. And then
It's the kitchen. You're allowed to make
our
a
own
mess.
fennel pollen.
Fennel pollen.
Yes.
I've never even heard of this before.
It's a delicacy. It's about $40, but we have our own
Really?
fennel. And this is from smell it.
$40?
Just- Do you like fennel? Like a
Oh, I love
licorice
fennel.
anise? Yes.
Fantastic.
And this is vegan.
Yeah, exactly.
And
I should have brought a fork here.
my apologies. Yes, sorry about
Well,
that.
my
But,
fault.
my boss, the general manager, we have all these beautiful animals, but he's like, stop doing vegan. But it's everyone. We got to make everyone happy.
Exactly.
Yes.
So fun having you. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
We'll be
sir.
right back with more right after this.
I belong here.
You may think I don't fit in.
That I don't look the part.
But to me, curling is more than a sport.
It's my community.
Together, we can sweep away the barriers.
Create spaces where we all belong.
And experience the joy of curling.
I belong here.
We belong here.
We unite, and united we curl.
Leonard Thompson, 13 years old, diabetes mellitus, 65 pounds.
Starve the child to let them live. The treatment's as cruel as the disease. It's a death sentence.
Dr. Banting, this could be it. He's the first to receive this trial. But will it save him?
It's not pure enough.
So we try again. And again. And again.
Before the discovery of insulin, diabetes was a death sentence. Banting, Best, Collip, and MacLeod's breakthrough has saved millions of lives. Leonard Thompson's was the first.
On Rogers TV.
Join me, holistic chef Daniela Croco, for season 4 of Simply Cooking by Chef, right here on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to Daytime Ottawa. This is a great segue. We're just in the kitchen cooking some delicious food. We had, obviously a vegetarian meal, some pasta, some beautiful mushrooms. But for a lot of people, when it comes to food, it's a very difficult decision on what to eat, when to eat it, what to avoid. Well, my next guest can help with just that. I am joined by Jennifer Neal. She's a registered dietitian and certified intuitive eating counselor. Welcome, Jennifer. Great to have you here. Let's first of all talk about intuitive eating in general. What does that mean exactly?
So intuitive eating is a framework of eating which really sees food as a form of self-care.
Okay.
And so when we think about that, what does it mean to eat? Intuitive eating uses 10 principles where really we are kind of rejecting dieting and diet culture. We're using food and movement as a form of self-care. And with my clients, what we're doing is we're trying to repair our relationship with food.
Okay.
Because, as adults, when we kind of get older, we accumulate all of these food rules.
Right.
And so we have
some good, some bad, I imagine, right?
Yeah, some work and some don't, right? But we're bombarded by those messages all the time. So intuitive eating, what I'm teaching my clients is how do we relearn what hunger and fullness actually feels like in our own bodies.
Right.
So what feels good to me might feel very different from what feels good to you.
Yeah, because I find, there's, and maybe there's something to it to a certain extent, but I find, we give standards to everybody. You're supposed to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner, whether you're hungry or not. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, just on a personal level, I only eat when I'm hungry. If I'm not hungry first thing in the morning, I wait and I eat at lunch, and then I have, maybe 2 meals a day.
Yep.
Are we all different in that way?
We are, and we do need food, so it kind of depends on what the motivation is behind some of these hunger and fullness rules that we have for ourselves,
okay.
Right? So if we don't eat breakfast, but then we have a day full of meetings, maybe we do need to eat when we're not
Gotcha.
So hungry because at 3 o'clock we're all like, oh my God, anything that I can
I'm
find.
chewing my arm off here on the show at 2:30.
Yes,
yeah, it's not a good sign. Yeah.
And we live in a world that's full of kind of diet culture and all these rules, and I think social media has made that really hard for people, right? Is that you should be doing all of these things, and you're like, how do I afford these things? Where do I fit this in? And so do you know what diet culture is? If I say that term, what does that mean?
Well, to me, it means that there are so many out there, right? When you look at diets, and then people, if I fail in this one, I'll try the next one. I fail, I'll try the next one. Am I close?
So diet culture, the definition I like is diet culture is a series of beliefs that really worships kind of that thin body. We use dieting as a way to achieve that thin body, and we demonize ways of eating while elevating others. So,
right.
We demonize eating processed foods, and then we elevate things that are really highly processed, like different powders and things like that,
okay.
right?
Yeah,
So in the same breath, we're kind of
That's interesting. I'm glad you said that because I don't think a lot of people have that connection, right?
Yeah.
When you think packaged processed foods, you're thinking, pre-made stuff. But yeah, I mean, some of these powders, I'm sure that we think are great, right, to make my smoothie, probably not too good.
Or it really depends on what you're working with, right?
Okay.
Or what your current eating habits look like. But yeah, so diet culture is all around us, right? We see it at the grocery store. We see it when things are marketed as this is the sin-free or guilt-free alternative, and we shouldn't have guilt and shame when it comes to food.
So to get out of that diet cycle, how do we use intuitive eating to have success?
Yeah, so really the diet cycle that we talk about is this kind of I really want to lose weight. I am going to go on a diet What happens when we start to restrict foods? I don't know if you've done that in the past, but what do you think happens when people restrict food?
I think there's a sense of kind of, you start getting depressed in a certain way, right? Because you miss it so much, and I think there's a lot of anxiety and stress around it as well.
Yeah, we start thinking about food all the time, right? Like your body, normal bodies doing normal body things is we don't want to be starving ourselves. So your body's like, I'm going to send you a bunch of signals to go eat something. And so what we do then is we tend to eat, we kind of break our own food rules that we have established, and then we feel really bad about it.
Right.
And then we wake up the next day and we're like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. I'm such a bad person. Okay, I really need to get back on track. Here I go again.
Yeah, so we have that conversation that's very negative with ourselves, right?
Yes.
You brought sort of some examples along with you here. What's the purpose of what you've brought here?
Okay, so here's how we use intuitive eating. Okay, so let's set the scene for you.
All right.
So you've already eaten dinner, you're watching TV, what have you, and you're like, oh, I'm kind of hungry. What snack are we choosing?
This is me right here, the chips.
The chips?
Yeah, that's my Achilles right there.
Which is like, if you are an intuitive eater, so you eat the chips, and then you're probably like, great.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm good.
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
satisfied. Now, most of my clients, before they come to visit me, this is what they're drinking.
This is what they're
the
eating.
chocolate, okay?
Right.
And I brought those because they're probably in everyone's house. Because
I'm not saying I would never go there. Don't get me wrong. But you're right, it's that time of year, right? And, and even before Halloween, people I'm sure are snacking on it. They're going to have to go back to the store to buy more.
Yeah. And so what happens is before people start working with me, they're like, I really want chocolate. Ooh, can't do that. I'm going to ruin my whole day if I have chocolate. So I eat the apple. Okay, well, the apple is no chocolate.
Right.
Like, if we're craving chocolate, this is not going to cut it.
Not satisfying.
No. So 20 minutes later, we're back in the kitchen, and we're like, okay, well, I want the chocolate, but I still shouldn't have the chocolate, right? Because that would be bad.
Right.
So there we go. We're going to have the yogurt.
Go to the yogurt, the healthy, sugary yogurt.
Yeah, and then 20 minutes later, maybe we're doing their granola bar. When really, if we were an intuitive eater, we eat this, we get satisfied, we move on with our life. Because at this point, we've eaten 3 snacks, and then we've probably had the chocolate.
Jennifer, geez, I could talk another hour with you about this, but you have a webinar coming up. Before I run out of time, tell everybody about it and how they can register.
Yes, so we have myself and a partner that I work with who's a clinical psychologist. We have a webinar on rejecting diet culture coming up on Friday. It is via Zoom, and you can register at my website, nutritioniq.ca/workshop.
Wonderful. This has been a fantastic, as I said, this real life example, right? Because instead of having 3 things, you're having a couple of pieces of chocolate and you're satisfied. And you move on. You heard the lady. Jennifer Neal, ladies and gentlemen, again, nutritioniq.ca/workshop to register. We'll be back with more right after this.
After a night out with your friends, not having a plan for a safe ride home can leave you in a bad spot. You could end up riding in a police car, an ambulance, or a hearse. These unplanned modes of transportation can be a costly choice and do not take you home. Your plan could include a designated driver, a taxi, or public transit. Drink responsibly, choose your ride, and have a plan for a safe ride home.
Visit arrivealive.org to find out more.
Hi guys, my name is Vi and I'm a part of Encore Ottawa 3. My set at the Meridian Theatre is coming out this week and I hope you tune in. It's been 2 years later, still.
Learn all about the creation of the National Capital Region on The History of Ottawa according to Phil Jenkins on Rogers TV.
These days at your local Legion, we're marching to the beat of a different drum. On a mission to support veterans, to have fun, and to welcome everyone to our ranks. You don't have to be a veteran to join the Legion. And as a member, you'll join thousands of others serving our veterans, our communities, and our country. Oh yeah, and our Member Perks program will save you thousands on shopping, dining, products, and services across the country. Join us at legion.ca.
Celebrate Ottawa returns this fall with brand new episodes starting October 15th. The show features people, places, and events that make Ottawa such a vibrant place to call home. Join us Sunday evenings at 7.
Welcome back to Daytime Ottawa. Back to tell you about success. And my next guest is really on a mission to help people succeed. And she does it in very different ways. And the good news is she has a book that walks you through it now. I am joined by Susan Odell. She is the founder and CEO of 80/20 CS. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
Right?
It's great to be here. A few years, I think.
Yeah, let's not even date ourselves, okay?
Okay, I could say a few things, but I won't.
But I want to talk a little bit about your journey. Tell everybody, because you've got you've worn many hats, and you continue to do so throughout your career. But just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Absolutely. So on the professional side, I've been in tech for 27 years, and I've done everything from carry a bag in a frontline sales position to run global channel teams, worked in operations, started a few consulting companies, worked for private equity firms out of the U.S., been through multiple merger and acquisition deals, and so I've seen just about everything in tech. But on the personal side, I'm an immigrant. I was born in England, raised in Toronto, call Ottawa home now. My parents were born in Guyana, South America, and they moved us to England, and then we all moved to Canada. So change and transformation and just like figuring it out has been a part of my family's life for a few generations, yeah.
You know, some people can look at that as, you know, there are negatives and positives to everything.
Absolutely.
Are there some benefits to that life experience that you've had with all those moves?
Yeah, I think that you're thrown into new situations all the time. And culturally, even from a cultural point of view, you're thrown into the deep end of something you don't know anything about. And so you either sink or you swim.
Right.
So it's in my DNA to swim, even though I tread really terribly.
Some of us tread water.
I don't tread water very well. I swim or I just, I sink. So it's taught me how to do that, and I don't think I recognized my natural ability to just figure things out for a long time. I'm a solo mom as well, so I've developed my career being alone with my daughter. So you either figure it out or you don't, and I think most people have the ability to figure it out. The book is all about that. It's a business book, but it's applicable to any situation where you really want to be able to solve complex problems, get out of a situation, make a situation way better than it is, even if it's good. It's applicable to any type of change and just breaking things down in a really pragmatic way, working hard, and accomplishing the mission over time. Yeah.
You know, with success in tech, my understanding too is that you don't have to be in the tech industry,
correct?
Right?
Absolutely not.
To get something out of to get a lot out of this book.
That's right.
It's a guide.
It's a field guide. It's a field guide. It's very practical. So the whole book is based on a 5-gate method that takes you from an idea of what you want to change through to setting a goal, setting your strategy, setting your execution plan, and then setting your communication and sustainability plan.
Right.
You can apply that to any business regardless of vertical, but you can also apply it to your personal life. So what's your plan? Like, what is your goal? I want to get out of this unhealthy relationship I'm in.
Right.
What's your goal?
Whether it's work or personal,
doesn't matter.
Right? Yeah.
I want to achieve that in 6 months or 18 months. Okay, well, what's my strategy? The other thing the book does is it weighs the plan that you have with the people that are going to be affected by your plan. Because a plan on paper might sound really smart, but if you've got 5 people in a room that need to be a part of buying into that plan and only 2 people do, you're probably going to fail.
Right.
So it weighs the people considerations along with the kind of on paper.
You and I ran into each other
Yep.
at a networking event just a little while ago, and you said, I'm going to bring some crema with me,
did.
right? So this is
Ta-da.
the bottle. So this is what that is. This is this bottle of wine.
This is my favorite bottle of wine. It's La Crema from the Sonoma Coast in California.
Okay.
Pinot Noir is my favorite grape, and it's full-bodied, but it doesn't kill you. And you said, yeah, let's bring it. So
yeah, you said we're going to have a glass of wine when we sit down for our chat. So that's exactly what we're going to do. We'll enjoy a little bit of wine.
We're going to celebrate the book and being on daytime again. That's right.
And you know, you're also a singer, songwriter, musician.
Right. Yeah.
You know, from that experience too, I think, you know, you're using different skill sets. But have you benefited from having that skill as well? Because you know, a lot of people don't put together, you know, tech and the arts and, you know, working in the industries that you've worked in.
Yeah.
When did music and art come into your life?
Well, wow, that's a great question. Music's been in my family blood for a long time. Back in Guyana, my great aunt on my dad's side was a concert pianist. And that was a long time ago, a long time ago. And so I started playing piano when I was maybe 12, Royal Conservatory, very traditional.
Right.
And then I taught myself how to play guitar. And all of my songwriting has been based on guitar. And the last time I was on Daytime was promoting my last album in 2017. And yeah, so I put out 3 albums. And so how does it relate to my tech career? I think creativity.
Right.
Right? The ability to either see a blank page where you've got to create something new, or you've got chaos and you have to create something calm, some kind of good outcome out of chaos. I think having an open mind and letting creativity in has definitely been helpful.
Had you stepped away from music for quite some time?
Yeah, off and on. So yeah, I've stepped away again. Although I am now the chair of the board of the Ottawa Music Industry Coalition. Which is Mike.
Yeah.
That's
We've
right.
had them on the show many times over the years.
So I was on the board as a member of the board last year, and then Steve Foley, that he had his 6-year term end. We needed a new chair, and I did not put my hand up, but because
it often happens that way.
Because of my business background, the operational side of things, and focusing on how to make businesses more efficient, was a good fit for Mike at the time. So I said yes, and we've got a meeting tonight. So I'm very active. I have another album in the works, but right now the focus is on
the book.
It's on the book
and helping others.
Helping others. That's correct.
You're going to stick around, right? We're going to enjoy a little bit of this wine together. Cheers. Congratulations to all of your success.
Thank you.
I'll be back with Susan Odell right after this. We'll talk more about the book and about some of those strategies and inspiration for the book. We'll be right back after this.
On the 11th hour of the 11th day of the 11th month, we encourage Canadians to pause and remember all that veterans have sacrificed for us, lest we forget.
Join us for season 4 of Simply Cooking by Chef, Sunday nights at 8 o'clock, right here on Rogers TV.
Play 4 games of bingo from the comfort of your own home each Monday at 7 p.m. for your chance to win money from our $2,000 regular bingo or $5,000 super bingo night. Kiwanis TV Bingo, Mondays at 7 p.m. on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to the show, back with Susan Odell, talking about her fabulous book, Successful Change. And I wanted to talk to you a little bit about, I introduced you as the founder, CEO of 80/20CS.
Yeah.
Let's talk about 80/20CS. Like, what does that stand for? What's the 80/20?
Yeah, so the Pareto principle. So most people know that as the 80/20 rule. It goes back quite a long ways, and it's the principle is that 20% of outcomes, 80% of outcomes, positive or negative, are developed because of 20% of the inputs. So in a sales team, typically if you have 5 salespeople, there's only going to be like one of them that is bringing in 80% of the revenue. Statistically.
Really?
Absolutely.
Wow.
So it's not a rule, it's a principle because it doesn't hold true all of the time.
Right.
But most of the time, if you take data and you apply the rule, it works. So from my company's point of view, we focus on the 20% of contributors, negative or positive, that are having the most impact. So the 20% of the good stuff that is just killing it, we want to amplify that.
Of course.
20% of the negative stuff that is really dragging us down, we want to mitigate that. The rest of it is noise. So really, it's all about focus.
So how do you go about, let's talk about the strategies and the positive and negative.
Right.
So you say, the impact of the things are dragging you down. Maybe it's personnel, but maybe it's decision making. Maybe it's a product that's not selling and so forth. So how do you begin to mitigate that kind of situation?
So typically the clients that I work with they know what the problem is. And they have been struggling to fix it, and they're having a hard time. So I'll get pulled in where a company needs to improve their profitability by X percentage in a certain amount of time, and they do not see the path to getting there. So the first thing I typically do with them is I trace a dollar through the business. So if you look at a company sells some kind of product, it could be a physical product, it could be a service. If you look at what they're investing in their sales practices and their marketing, they've closed a client, and then you look at how that product is delivered to the customer and how support is provided, you can identify revenue leaks along that chain. And if you see it repeatedly, then you can plug those leaks and profitability automatically rises. So it's about focus. So you do have to have a certain amount of broad experience to know where to identify common leaks. And 35% of American companies, it's a bigger pool, so it's a really good statistic, have identified revenue leaks as a systemic problem. So it's a big problem that needs to be solved. So you want to do the analysis work and then prioritize what would have the biggest impact positively if we fix it.
That, and it's interesting too that we're going to look at the positive side, because I think a lot of people assume, if it is positive, why even bother? But I think that's part of the problem. My father's I should say a former accountant. He's still a CA, but that's what he would talk to his clients about. They said, well, I'm just leaving that aside, Rick, because it's doing really well. So I just want to concentrate. But he said, but that's your best product. Why aren't you
amplify?
So how do you do that though?
Yeah, well, you've got to bring the management team together in alignment, right? One of the best skills from a leadership point of view is not assuming that you have all the answers. So if there is a product that's showing signs of greater potential, maybe you go into a new geography, or maybe you add a feature that will make it stickier, for example. You want to bring the management team together, and you want to make sure everybody is aligned on what the business should be doing. So the things that look like they have potential to grow, are we aligned on investing a bit more to amplify those positive things? And the things that are broken, are we aligned on what we need to mitigate first? Maybe some of those things could happen next year, but in the next 2 quarters, we need to focus on this one big problem because it may improve our bottom line by 5%. So it's a conversation, it's about transparency, it's about coming together in alignment when it comes to priorities, and then a commitment to execution. And so the framework in the book helps leadership teams or anybody think pragmatically through all those stages. You can't go from an idea of if I amplify this good thing or if I mitigate this bad thing to the positive outcome like that. If you skip the steps in between, you're likely never going to get to the outcome you think you're going to attain.
Right.
Yeah.
You mentioned those 5 things. That's the 5-gate framework.
Correct.
That we only have a couple of minutes left, but I just want, without getting into the complete details, what are those 5 things?
Yeah,
though?
so at the highest level, it is what is the thing that you want to accomplish at the highest level.
Right.
Then number 2 would be what is a goal that you're going to set, measurable goal related to that thing that you want to accomplish. The 3rd step is what's your strategy to achieve that goal. The 4th step is what are the actual steps you're going to take, the tactics of what you're going to do to get to realize your strategy. And then the 5th is how are you going to sustain that thing. So imagine if you learned how to ride a bike to do a 5-minute race in less time than you've ever done it before.
Right.
That's great, you accomplish it once, but then if you don't work out on your bike anymore and you try to do that same 5-minute race a month from now, you're probably not going to be in the conditioning that you were in before. So this is about how do you sustain the outcome that you're working towards over the long term? How do you make it a part of your DNA, a part of your company culture, all of those good things?
Is there one out of those 5 that in your experience you found is the most difficult, the most challenging for clients?
They're all equally important. So the method is don't go on to gate 2 until you absolutely nail gate 1.
Right.
Don't go on to gate 3 until you absolutely nail gate 2. So it's a very pragmatic, systematic process of going from ideation to sustainability. And if you can't get past the gate, then you might want to fail fast and start again.
Yeah.
But don't just say, okay, well, I'm frustrated here, let's go to the next one.
Yeah.
You're going to fail.
Because you're going to fail no matter
You're
what.
gonna
So
fail.
you might as well just scrap it. Start over again.
Yep.
You've got a book launch coming up. Tell everybody at home about the book launch.
Yeah, so Wednesday, October 18th, so 2 days from now at 8 a.m. at Bayview Yards, Invest Ottawa's headquarters. We have a breakfast launch. We're serving breakfast, and there'll be a little bit of background music. And then I've got some leaders in the Ottawa tech community that will be speaking as well. And we're going to share ideas. It's not just a celebration, it's helping to just share ideas around change and just celebrating 3.5 years of effort writing the book.
Congratulations on that, Susan. So great to catch up with you, and congrats on all the success. Shall we, one last time, a little cheers. Here's to you.
Cheers.
And to all the success, and to your success at home. We'll be back with more right after this.
Today, I helped a senior find transportation to an important medical appointment.
Today, I helped a new mom find virtual programming so she didn't feel so isolated.
Today, I helped someone understand new government supports.
Every day, 211 navigators connect Canadians to critical government and community programs and services.
211. Help starts here.
We're in infinity. Hi, my name is Isabel. I'll be performing as part of Encore Ottawa 3. I hope you can tune in and catch it on Rogers TV.
The OHL on Rogers TV.
I did it. I need it.
The hero gave it.
And I am alive.
As an organ donor, you can save up to 8 lives and enhance the lives of 75 others. Please go to our website. Pledge a gift of life. You'll be glad you did.
Join me, holistic chef Daniela Croco, for season 4 of Simply Cooking by Chef, right here on Rogers TV.
You like what you see. Hi guys, my name is Vi and I'm a part of Encore Ottawa 3. My set at the Meridian Theatre is coming out this week and I hope you tune in.
It's been 2 years later, still.
Welcome back to Daytime Ottawa. An important conversation because, you know, we have an aging population. We've seen the statistics of more people over the age of 70 than we've ever seen in history. And all of those people, I wouldn't say all, but I'd say the majority of those people want to age in place. And I can say from personal experience, I have parents that want to do just that. But how do you do it? How do you plan for it? My next guest has advice for you. I'm joined by Mallory McGrath, collaborative aging expert and founder and CEO of Vive Planning. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Derek. Great to be here.
I guess this is the dream, right? The dream is I want to age in place.
Yeah.
But the statistics show people want to do it. But how many people are actually planning to do it?
Exactly. So the statistics show that 96% of Canadians want to age in place. So, you know, virtually everyone.
Yeah.
Yet realistically, that's not going to happen because we see a lot of developers that are building retirement residences and long-term care homes. They're not just doing that for fun. They're doing it with a reason. At the end of the day, whatever you choose, whether it's to age in place, to live with a family member, or to move into the home care system, whatever, do what's best for you.
Right.
But you need to be planning for it. And as you said, people just aren't. They're just making assumptions that everything will be okay, we'll figure it out when it happens. But that is where we start seeing a lot of discourse and disagreement and resentment in families, and ultimately the breakdown of lovely family units.
So, okay, what's the planning process look like? Like, what's my first step? I want to age in place. What should I be thinking of?
So your first step, we're talking about you. Let's talk about you for a second.
I'm 53.
Yeah?
I've got to
That's a
start
perfect
thinking.
age. This is great.
There you go.
So here you are. You're in your 50s. You have a partner.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So the two of you sit down and you go, this is what we want out of our life when we're in our 60s, our 70s, our 80s, our 90s. Start talking about it now, because for all you know, they don't have the same view as you because you're doing a great job of just not talking about getting older in your marriage. Right? So have that conversation with them first and then go, okay, so now what do we need to do to achieve our goals? Similar to what Susan was talking about in your last segment. What do we have to do to get there? Every family, every couple, and every individual person is going to be completely different. So unfortunately, there's no just one-stop solution to how to plan for your future. But the first thing is really reflecting on what you want and then looking at the costs. And I say costs in a very large way, not just the financial cost, but the cost to your social life, the cost to your potential children or nieces and nephews who are going to be a part of your support network in the next generation. Who and what and where and how, all of those costs together are what are really important to reflect on in your 50s while you're still working and bringing in an income before all of a sudden you're passing that 65, 70 mark and then really need to be making some plans about what's next.
So I think we can plan, obviously, if we have that conversation that's so important. So those are the expected things.
Yes.
What about planning for the unexpected, and what what might that entail?
Exactly. So a great thing to do with your first self-reflection is to look back at family health history. All right. You have a family health history of Alzheimer's. Guess what? Pretty good chance you might have it one day too. So what is that going to look like for you? Do you want to go about that experience with Alzheimer's the way that your mother did, or did you really dislike watching her go through that and dislike being the child in that role in her life, and you want to do things differently for your own children? So take stock of what is going to be best for you in your own health journey. And you're right, there are things, of course, that we can't predict are going to happen, but you can sit down and think about a lot of health things and financial related things that might happen in your life by just looking around at everyone else in your community, in your town. What's going on in their lives? What if that happened to you? How would you react to that? And then start to have those discussions with your partner, with your family, to be able to create a really good plan for your aging future.
If you want to stay, aging in place, if you want to stay in the home that you've lived in for 25, 30, 40, whatever years, what should I be taking into consideration if that's what I want to do?
Right. So the home that you live in. So, most people live in a 2-story house. Well, we know as we get older, it gets a lot harder to take those stairs, both up to the second floor and to the basement. So you need to think about putting in a chair lift, those really cool things on that commercial that you see going up the stairs. It's a good time. I want to ride on those. Come on. So you think about putting in one of those, or, stop going to the basement altogether, which is a really common first step. But then there's some people who renovate the main floor of their home so they can live on one level. Now, great idea. idea, costs a lot of money, and probably not something your financial planner or advisor thought about when they were planning for your retirement.
Right.
Plus, that's going to drastically change the future sale value of your home because you've now renovated your home for an aging person to live in.
Right.
Whereas typically when you sell a family home, it goes to someone kind of in my generation, right? We're going to buy in our first home, moving our kids in. We don't necessarily want to have a bedroom on our main floor.
I hate to sound crass.
Yeah.
But let's say I do that. It's going to impact my family members. So let's say
Sure,
I have children, which
Okay,
I do.
okay.
So I do the full renovations and everything, put in the bars and all that sort of thing, and then it's theirs, right?
Yeah.
Now it's their responsibility. Like, should I take that into consideration, or is it more about, well, no, this is how I want to live the remainder of my life?
Right. So I think at the end of the day, it's your life. That house is your asset. You do you. But make it very clear to your children that you are focused on what is right for you. That's what's really key, is those family conversations, okay?
Right.
So when your kids are in there, even in their teens, I know some people might think that's crazy, but start sitting down with them and explaining, this is what we want. It is so important to me that I age in place. So I am going to do everything I need to do to prepare for that as a family, to prepare for that financially, strategically. And yes, that might mean that down the line when I do die and you sell off this house, you might not get as much money as you might hope, but this is what's most important to me, and I want you to respect that and be a part of that journey with me.
I'm just running out of time.
That's
People
okay.
want to sit down with you. Vive Planning.
Vive Planning, actually.
I'm
That's
sorry,
okay.
I called it.
Don't worry.
VivePlanning.ca is the place to go. We'll be back with more after this. Thank you so much,
Thank
Mal. I
you,
really appreciate it.
Learn all about the creation of the National Capital Region on The History of Ottawa, according to Phil Jenkins, on Rogers TV.
Celebrate Ottawa returns this fall with brand new episodes starting October 15th. The show features people, places, and events that make Ottawa such a vibrant place to call home. Join us Sunday evenings at 7.
Join us for season 4 of Simply Cooking by Chef, Sunday nights at 8 o'clock, right here on Rogers TV.
Welcome back to the show. Let's go over a couple of things we talked about on today's show. First of all, a big thanks to Kevin McKenna, coming all the way from Prince Edward County, Wapu's Estates Winery. By the way, they're part of that Countylicious that's happening during the month of November. It runs from November 2nd to the 19th. You can find out all the information on Wapu's winery.com, or you can just look up Countylicious. Again, Prince Edward County, just a fabulous place to visit. Jennifer Neal, who was on the show talking about intuitive eating, she has a webinar coming up called Rejecting Diet Culture. That's happening this Friday, October the 20th at 12 p.m. You can find out all the info at nutritioniq.ca for that one. What else do we have? Oh, yeah, the book launch for Susan. A big thanks to Susan for staying for an extra segment. What a great conversation with her, and for bringing along a lovely bottle of wine, too, to share with me. Her book launch, her book is called, again, Successful Change. That's happening at Bayview Yards. Invest Ottawa is located in Bayview, so that's where they're doing it, right in that location there. That's on October 18th at 8 a.m. And you can visit her personal website to find out more information. If you have a story idea, visit it at rogerstv.com.
Call the Rogers TV viewer response line, email us, or connect with us on social media.
Hi, I'm Meg, and this is Fit Finley, and we're from Fit Over 50. Join me for a new season, which is full of awesome workouts designed for adults 50 plus. Improve your motivation, your strength, and your energy. Join me for a new season of Fit Over 50 exclusively on Rogers TV.
Ottawa, it's the national capital of Canada. But how much do you know about the city's